The Tower of Babel is much more significant than many give it credit for. The Tower of Babel is a living embodiment of man's self-sufficiency without God, which of course is the false worship and glorification of man's ability and pride apart from God. Men in effect elevate themselves in their own eyes as their own gods and confess that they don't need God, their happiness, welfare, and a deeper calling in life. The city of Babylon, in essence, is the fruition of Satan's promise to Eve in the Garden of Eden. We can find out that Satan is in the Garden of Eden by reading Ezekiel chapter 29, verse 13, and Revelation 12, verse 9. Revelation chapter 12, verse 9, King James Version. And the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent called the devil, and Satan was deceived with the whole world. He was cast out into the earth, and his angels were cast out with him. Ezekiel chapter 28, verse 13, King James Version. Thou hast been in Eden, the garden of God. Every precious stone was thy covering, the sardius, the topaz, and the diamond, the beryl, the onyx, and the jasper, the sapphire, the emerald, and the carbuncle, and gold, and the workmanship of thy terebrits, and thy pipes were prepared in thee. Indeed, the day thou wast created. Thou art an anointed cherub that covereth, and I have set thee so. Thou wast upon the holy mount of God. Thou hast walked up and down in the midst of the stones of fire. Thou wast perfect in thy ways from the day that thou wast created, till iniquity was found in thee. By the multitude of thy merchandise they have filled the midst of thee with violence. And thou hast sinned, therefore I will cast thee as profane out of the mountain of God, and I will destroy thee, O covering cherub, in the midst of the stones of fire. This means man can do whatever they desire, even if their desires are wicked and corrupt and lead to death, which are the consequences of sin, vanity, pride, and self-deception. Proverbs 11, verse 19, King James Version. As the righteous treadeth to life, so he that pursueth evil pursueth it to his own death. Instead of worshiping the Creator, men worship themselves and others that they admire. God being rejected leads them to suffer the consequences of this false worship, which is sin. Romans chapter 1, verses 21 through 26, King James Version. Because that, when they knew God, they glorified him not as God, neither were thankful, but became vain in their imaginations, and their foolish heart was darkened. Professing themselves to be wise, they became fools, and changed the glory of uncorruptible God into an image made like to corruptible man, and to birds, and four-footed beasts, and creeping things. Wherefore God also gave them up to uncleanness through the lust of their own hearts, and to dishonor their own bodies between themselves. Changed the truth of God into a lie, and worshipped and served the creature more than the Creator, who is blessed forever. Amen. In fact, I think it's no coincidence that Babel and Babylon sound similar, for they share many of the same characteristics. Babylon in the Middle East, where the Israelites were captive for 70 years, and also the spiritual city of Babylon described in Revelation, especially the city Babylon in Revelation. It will be the glory of all merchants and rulers in the last days. They will weep bitterly when it is destroyed. Revelation chapter 18, verse 9, King James Version. And the kings of the earth who have committed fornication and lived deliciously with her shall bewail her and lament for her, when they shall see the smoke of her burning. We are told the city, the harlot of Babylon, will be drunk off the blood of the saints. I think this means the ways of the city will cause many to abandon God, and will cause the praise of the persecution and even murder of Christians. Revelation chapter 17, verses 1 through 6, King James Version. And there came one of the seven angels which had the seven vials, and talked with me, saying unto me, Come hither, I shall show thee the judgment of the great whore that sitteth upon many waters, with whom the kings of the earth have committed fornication, and the inhabitants of the earth have been made drunk with the wine of her fornication. So he carried me away in the spirit into the wilderness, and I saw a woman sit upon a scarlet-colored beast, full of names of blasphemy, having 7 heads and 10 horns. The woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet-colored, decked with gold and precious stones and pearls, having a golden cup in her hand full of abominations and filthiness for fornication. And upon her forehead was the name written, Mystery, Babylon, the Great, the mother of harlots, and abomination of the earth. And I saw the woman drinking the blood of the saints with the blood of the martyrs of Jesus. And when I saw her, I wondered with great admiration. Of course, all these things sound similar to secular Western civilization today. People are worshiping themselves and others on social media and the internet. People are obsessed with the abundance of material goods and frivolous luxury. The wisdom of men has caused many to say in their hearts there is no God, which leads to the glorification of their own lusts and evil desires. I don't think Babylon has come, but Western civilization today is possessed by the spirit of Babylon, especially the great cities of the world such as Los Angeles, New York, London, Paris, Tokyo, and Beijing. Whenever men gather in great numbers and are puffed up with pride, the spirit of Babel and Babylon reside, along with the spirit of the AntiChrist. You read more about the spirit of the AntiChrist in 1 John chapter 4, verse 3, King James Version. First Epistle of John, chapter 4, verse 3. And every spirit that confesseth not that Jesus Christ is come in the flesh is not of God, and this is that spirit of Antichrist, whereof ye have heard that it should come, even now already is it in the world. Ye are of God, little children, and have overcome him, because greater is he that is in you than he that is in the world. Ye are of the world, therefore speak they of the world, and the world heareth them. We are of God. He that knoweth God heareth us. He that is not of God heareth not us. Hereby know we the spirit of truth from the spirit of error. I hope I have enlightened you more about the ruler of this dark age, who is Satan, until Christ comes to rule the world, and how he uses cities and man's desires and corrupt wishes, and so-called freedom to corrupt mankind. I am Brian Cornelius, the founder of The Light and the Lamb. Hope you've enjoyed and liked my video. Please like and share.